What do you guys do when someone in your vicinity cries? I am I was just thinking today that it's changed so much for me because my dad was in the army, and growing up it was always like, oh, why are you crying? It's fine, and everything's going to be fine. And it was it's like, you're strong and you shouldn't cry. And that's what I grew up with. And from all accounts that I have heard, I, as a child, I used to cry a lot. Not just when I was, I don't know, when I was a baby, but when I was a child and like way into my pre-teens and teens, like I used to cry at the drop of a hat. So I don't know if I ever considered that there was another option. Like, for me, it was always about, don't cry. Like, you're strong. Like, there's no need to cry, as if it was a sign of weakness. And lately, I mean, gradually over the last, I guess, 4 years, I suppose. Yeah, like 4 years. It's, for me, that has changed a lot. I was chatting with a friend in the States recently, and she is in her 30s, and she said that, as she's grown older, she's crying less and less. And I texted her saying that for me, I'm 45, and after 42, it's like I've been crying more and more. And it's, I find it beautiful, to be able to do that without judging myself. And it's also been quite interesting to see the people around me and how they react when I'm crying. And it's, as an observer, it fascinates me on how most of us have been programmed with this story of crying is weakness, or something like that. And it's sometimes, if you, like when I told my friend who's in the 30s, excuse me, sorry about that, excuse me. When I told her that I've been crying more and more and that I have less self judgment, she was like, oh wow. And I could sense that it opened up a different perspective for her. And I think that's cool. And I think we all need someone who can open that different perspective for us, because a perspective is what creates our reality. And now I cry freely. Like, I remember I was on a job in my early months here in Australia, and it was a really, really tough job. Like, even the people who still work there, I mean, hats off. I don't know how they do that. I mean, sure, most of them are youngsters, like in their 20s, 18, 19, 20, etc. So it's different, it's a different time of life. And for me, I lasted like 3 months. I just couldn't keep up with the physicality of the job. And I remember there was a incident once where we were doing dishes in the pantry car, where we all do dishes in the back area of the kitchen, etc. And one of my colleagues, he had just taken out a butter knife from the dishwasher. And after the dishwasher, you're supposed to polish the cutlery in boiling water. And he'd taken it out of the boiling water and he had wiped it, and it was still pretty hot, and he just came up to me with a sly look in his eye, and he touched it to my arm, and it was burning hot. And I looked at him, and in that moment I knew that I was going to cry. I looked at him, I put both my hands on his shoulders, and I said, I this is not about the knife, but I am going to cry now. And I was surrounded by my colleagues, and guests were not very far away. And I just let go. And it was not just like, it was just like, "Wah!" And I could see he was like, fuck, like, what just happened? I said, and I continued to do the dishes because the job had to be done, and I didn't want to pass on my work to someone else because I was having an emotional experience. And eventually, like within a couple of minutes, word got to my manager, and she came in and she was like, you know, you can go sit down and it's not a big deal. You can just chill. And I'm like, and I looked around to my 3, 4 colleagues who were like very concerned, including the chefs. And I said, this is something that I need to get out of my system. I have no problem continuing my work right now. If any of you are comfortable, maybe you could consider going and taking a break and sitting down. um, that's how it is for me now. Like I cry easy and I don't judge myself, and I feel like this sense of catharsis that I'm letting it out. Like there's a lot of emotion inside me that I feel like I have not given myself permission to express over the years, and it's getting expressed now. And I try to do that for someone else if they're around me and they're crying. Like I met with a friend today who is leaving Adelaide, and we're all sad to see her go, but we also feel like something awaits her where she's headed. So we don't want to, you know, do the whole emotional blackmail of, oh my God, no, you can't leave us. We're all like, go, fly, you know. And I met her today, and I don't know when I'll be seeing her next. And when I was leaving, she hugged me and she started crying, and I started sobbing. And we were just holding each other. And it's, you know, like most people will be like, oh my God, it's okay, you're okay, it's okay, you're okay. It's almost like we want the other person to stop crying. Not because of them, but because it makes us uncomfortable, because we see that they are in a moment of full emotional expression and we don't allow ourselves to do that. So it makes us uncomfortable that, oh my God, she's doing it. Why can't I do it? So we want her to stop. Instead, what I feel you could do is just be there without, you don't even need to touch the other person. Just be there and watch them and allow them to just cry openly. Don't say anything and just be there with them. And for me, for example, like if I'm crying, it's nice if someone puts their hand on my shoulder, or if it's someone that I'm close to and someone loves me, for them to hug me, put their arm around my shoulder, put their hand on my knee. I like that. But otherwise, just sit with me and be with me while I cry. And I like it. I like this version of me that is giving herself permission to feel her emotions and fully express herself. I'm having a cup of chamomile tea just before I fold my laundry and head to bed. Bye.